Welcome to Journey to Joy Live, a podcast to promote wellness, resilience, and inspire joy. Be empowered to balance your mental, physical, financial, aspirational, and social health while providing mental health awareness and breaking down the stigma of mental illness in the Black community. I'm your host, Dr. Joy, and I'm here to help you transform life's challenges into opportunities for joy. Let's begin the journey together. Hey, Dr. Joy here, and you are watching episode 69 of Journey to Joy Live. That is Reclaiming Your Time, Strategies for Balancing Life's Demands. And speaking of time, I'm on time. I usually don't get a chance to go live right at 7 because, as you know, I have 3 boys, a 1-year-old, 3-year-old, and a 13-year-old, but they outside playing with their daddy. So, woohoo, that worked out. And I don't know how the 3-year-old turned out to be outside with just his underwear on. He had on his pants when he left out, but somehow he's just running around outside with his underwear on. But anyway, he happy, everybody's happy, and I'm on time, and I get to talk to you all. So you know how life can get demanding, and we all have priorities. We all have things that we have to do and that we must do. And when you can't prioritize your life things, and when you end up procrastinating, stress gets the best of you, anxiety gets the best of you. And it's just important for us to talk about time management and how we can get the best of our time and just reclaim our time, get that time back, and be able to focus on self-care and be able to increase our joy, because that's what all of this is about with the Journey to Joy Live. But before we get into that, we had an amazing time last Saturday, the Enjoyno book launch and wellness event at Studio House Atlanta. So excited about that. So many people came out as far as to support, and we had a panel of experts come out to talk about everything, right? So the Enjoyno brought that to life, talked about the Inspire Joy, where we talk about our mental health, physical health, financial health, social health, as well as our aspirational health. So I had Dr. Carla Booker to represent that physical wellness, because she is a medical doctor, family medicine, OB-GYN, urgent care, all of that. So she promoted the physical wellness part of the panel. And then I had Chai T. Matias out. She is a life coach. She is a minister. She does everything. She's also a doula. And so she represented the spiritual health piece, the physical health, as well as the life coaching part. And then I had Mickey Bay. She's an emotional regulation coach, was on the panel as well. So brought in that emotional regulation piece, because no matter what, we all need emotional regulation. That can be emotional dysregulation can be seen in the way we eat and in the way we talk to people, our relationships, all kinds of things. So emotional dysregulation and being able to regulate your emotions is extremely important. And then Nikki Blakely Simmons was my financial wellness expert. She has her own business in real estate. So she helped out with giving advice about how we can prioritize our finances. Actually, everybody chipped in on that, because we all have advice on how you can promote your financial wellness. And lastly, Tori Williams of Tori Williams Events. She is coming into her life coaching phase of life, in addition to being an event producer. And she offered the life coaching advice. And you know what? It was just a beautiful space. Everyone felt comfortable and safe. There were different panelists that even talked about their own trauma and how they got through that in order to experience joy and resilience. We talked about faith and spirituality and God, and it was just such a great, powerful panel. And of course, I had the vendors there, really holistic vendors, Reiki specialists, Ann Tangy, as well as her husband, Andrew Davis, who focuses on body work and massages and energy, Josh from the Josh Effect, who focuses on talk therapy, as well as energy, holistic massages, and all those things. So it was just really great. Rodney Pierre was doing the DJ, providing that music atmosphere. And Skinny Kenny of Cafe Olay would provide about 20 minutes of live performances on the guitar. Ooh, he has an amazing voice. Check out Cafe Olay. They're on Instagram at The Real Cafe Olay. And you could check them out on YouTube. Wow, wow, amazing music. So it was a wonderful event. If you missed it, hey, that's the first of many because it was my first big event having, and I'm just like, I can do this again. Why not? So at least annually, we will see how often. But you can catch me next week at Scrambled for Brunch at 1 p.m. Girlfriend Therapy. Dr. Kelly is putting that on. So, woohoo, we got through that. And we are through our Inspire Joy series already. Inspire Joy series from episode 62 to 68. So we are out of that. Catch those episodes if you missed them. So now we are talking about reclaiming your time because time don't wait for anybody. Time just go. And it's just like just as soon as you think you have time to do something, it's just gone. And it's like some days you feel like you have more times. And then other days it's just like, where does this time go? What's going on? So we really need to focus on that because if you do procrastinate and you don't take care of your priorities and you don't take care of like the things that are less than priorities but that you need to still get done, then it's going to create stress. Stress is going to increase your anxiety. That's going to turn into depression. That's going to turn into you being irritable with your spouse or your family or your children and at work and things like that. So let's get ahead of our time. What you gonna do? So as we get into what are these practical strategies that you need to balance your life's demands because life can be so demanding. I mean, first of all, block out the time. You have to plan for it. You can't just be like, okay, it'll get done, it'll get done, it'll get done. Because I know I'm doing a lot. And people are like, how do you do all this? Because I don't have an assistant. I do everything by myself. Um, Chief medical officer of Crystal 180. I mean, of course, I have people who work under me there. But then with my private practice, I'm scheduling people, I'm taking care of the billing, I'm writing the notes, obviously, I'm seeing the patients, I'm marketing the podcast. I'm basically the producer. I am the producer. Producing these shows, I'm editing them, I'm posting them, I'm editing them on audio. I'm taking care of 3 kids. I go run. I am also making time out for my husband so that, that relationship continues to flourish. So I'm doing a lot. So it's kind of like, well, how do I do it? Well, priorities, priorities. What comes first? And different days offer different types of priorities. Of course, the first thing I recommend, and I don't always do this, but I definitely recommend like giving into yourself the first part of the day. That is a priority, right? I know I think to myself, I at least do a check in every morning. I may not go straight to meditation in the morning, but I do a check in. And that check in is how am I feeling? Is it okay to look at my phone right now? And if I wake up feeling anxious, I'm not gonna look at my phone because I know there's gonna be a ton of notifications, a ton of emails. And good thing for one part of my job, those email notifications are turned off. So I don't see those. But my Gmail is like right there. And it's just like all these things, right? So I'm like, okay, I do a check-in. So how am I doing? All right. I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. The day is gonna go well. Do a couple of positive affirmations. And that kind of thing is, mentally can go quick. So then I give myself permission to look at my phone. So either way, whether you do a check-in like that or a meditation in the morning, you got to do something. That's a priority to give into yourself. But in general, blocking off time for your priorities and categorizing it. You got stuff for work that you need to do. You have stuff as a parent that you need to do. You have stuff as a spouse that you need to do, or you're a single person and you have stuff for your parent that you need to do, or your friend or something. Blocking that time off, because if you know that you've blocked that time off, you are going to do it during that time. I was the most organized when I was in medical school, and I would schedule each hour what I was going to do. Okay, I'm going to study at this hour. I'm gonna watch Netflix at this hour. Like I was legit just like, yeah, this is when I'm gonna do everything. And it worked for me. I don't do that right now. But I do. I say I don't do that right now. I actually have a lot of stuff on my calendar, actually. So I almost kind of do that right now. But it's the way to stay organized and to be able to make sure I'm getting in the priorities. And sometimes you might have urgent things you have to do and another urgent thing that you have to do. So it's a matter of prioritizing that over the other. So, working on the podcast, for instance, that's fun for me. So I'm just like, ooh, I'm going to do this. But I have to tell myself, is this a priority? Do I need to do this right now? I kind of don't. So let me work on this training that I have to do for my other job and or let me make sure I go make dinner because sometimes I can get away with um producing and editing and planning and content creation. I'm like, oh, I guess I should go and make dinner. That's more of a priority. My kids need to eat, and then I can do that later. So definitely blocking off time really helps you get to what you need to do. So that's obvious. 2-minute rule. Ooh, I love the 2-minute rule. So we're talking about time management. Really good time management rule is the 2-minute rule. What does that mean? If you have a task that you need to do that's only going to take 2 minutes, just get it out of the way real quick because those 2-minute things that you have to do is going to just add up. So it looks like a really long list. I know for me, for instance, it's like when I see a patient and the parent says, oh, I need a school excuse. Can you fill out this form? Or I need to send an email to refer a patient to something. So usually of those three things, doing a school excuse and sending out a quick email, that's under 2 minutes, both of those. But then filling out some type of form, that's going to take a while. So I put that on my list to do later. So you have a list for later, and then you have your 2-minute list, and just get all those things. And then it feels good. There's that checkbox there because you can put the little checkbox and you check it off that you did it. So get the 2-minute things done and out of the way. I mean, what happens when you got a multiple 2-minute items that you have to do? Obviously, you make that list and you prioritize what you need to do. And if you don't do it that day, it's okay. All right. So we got that 2-minute rule. And then, setting boundaries with technology. I have a whole, I'm pretty sure I can do a whole episode on what I'm about to say. So I feel like technology has either worsened ADHD or created it or something because I know for me, I'll pick up my phone and I'm just like, okay, let me send this email. Then there's like a ton of notifications. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me look at this notification. Okay, what did they say on Facebook? Okay, I got this other email on my other email platform. Let me look at this. And then I'm like, oh, wait, what was I about to do? Why did I pick up my phone? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, I was gonna send that email, and then I done forgot. I'm doing all these things. So setting boundaries with technology is very important. I know I found that putting on the do not disturb setting has really been helpful for me. Some people don't get anxious when they see a bunch of notifications at the top of their phone. I do. I need to clear them out right away. So that's a part of me getting distracted and looking at my notifications so I can get rid of them. My husband's notifications be like all at the top. I'm like, you don't want to clear those out. Why aren't you clearing those out? He's like, I don't care. That helps him remember the things he's got to do. I guess his notifications at the top of his screen is his task list. Me, I got to clear them out. So anyhow, do not disturb helps those notifications not be there. But then when I turn off do not disturb, the notifications come back. So it's not like I'm making it so I can never see the notifications. They'll be there. So then that has lessened my anxiety as well when it comes to the notifications. But we got to set boundaries. We got to put down our phones. I know I can be on my phone a lot and I have to tell myself, okay, put it down, don't look. And after a certain time, I'm just not looking at my phone. I'm focused on TV or focused on time with my husband. So you have to set aside time for things that don't involve technology because that can really get in the way of your time management. Sometimes technology can be helpful, and I'm going to get back to that too. So number 4, batching similar tasks together obviously can be helpful. So, I mean, if you have errands to run that involve being outside of the house, you want to batch that together because if you got to go mail something and then you also got to go to Target and you also have to go pick up the kids, why are you going to do that in different times of the day when you can really put that together? So literally planning your day and thinking ahead and being intentional about your tasks and the things that you have to do in the given day is definitely helpful and will reduce stress. And that less stress will allow you to be less anxious and be able to have room for joy. You see, it all goes back to joy. So it's very important. So a lot of these things it can be pretty obvious, but are you doing it? And if you are doing it, what's not working for you? And what is something new that you're learning right now? Number 5, delegate and outsource when possible. Yes, I think that to an extent, I'm pretty good at delegating. In my Chris 180 job, I'm pretty good at delegating. I'm just like, okay, that's not for me. Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? It's difficult to delegate when it's just you. So, given that I'm the only person that runs my small business, it's difficult to delegate. But I do have people that help out a lot. So, for instance, that beautiful, oh my God, this is the first time I don't have it next to me. The beautiful Enjoyno. This is here you go. Got the one that says this was like the first print of the Enjoyno. So it has the whole not for resale. But anyway, the Enjoyno. So the beautiful Enjoyno. My brother-in-law, Marvin Young, helped out a lot. So when I come across things, he's a graphic designer. When I come across like things that are just a little difficult for me, it's gonna spend a little bit more time. Then I delegate and say, hey, can you do this? Because he's really amazing and he's willing to do those things. I don't delegate too much because, I a lot of what I do when it comes to the content creation is fun. But yeah, there are times when I can delegate. But when I can't delegate, like I said, it's just me and my private practice. It's difficult to be able to delegate because I'm pretty much the only one that can do what I do. Then I have to prioritize. I mean, obviously doing the billing, that comes first. I guess that's how I get paid. So things that are connected to how you get paid, you want to prioritize those things. And make a list, plan, schedule for when you do certain tasks, but to the best extent that you can delegate. And if you have a spouse, delegate those things that are possible to your spouse when it comes to family planning or family things that you do. So with the kids, I'm just like, oh, can you go to the market? And he loves going to the market. And I I don't really like going to the market. I'll do it. It's kind of like a chore for me to go to the market. He seems to love it. And even if he doesn't love it, he just does it with ease. So thank you, Juan. I delegate that to you, and he delegates things to me. So, hey, whatever helps. So getting into number 6, morning and evening rituals. So that's pretty much what I already mentioned about making sure you're pouring into yourself in the morning and making sure you have things that you do in the evening that help with your joy and help with your self-care and just planning it out what you do because when it comes to your time and making sure you're meeting life's demands. I mean, how are you going to meet life's demands if you haven't taken care of yourself? How are you going to have resilience and to be able to get through challenges if you haven't poured into yourself? One of the speakers last week at the wellness event said that her cup has to pour over. Her cup has to be running over before she's caring for other people. So she makes sure her cup is full before she even cares for somebody. So if you have an empty cup and you're trying to take care of people, no, 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 no. Wait and fill your cup and then you can take care of people. So number 7, learn to say no. Just say no. And for me, I like saying yes and I like giving and I like doing things for people and I like serving. So it's a little bit difficult for me to say no, especially when I know that the task may not take long to do. So for instance, somebody had recently asked me to write them a letter of recommendation. So I did say okay. I said, when do you need it by? And they said, oh, I need it by tomorrow. And so this is where a no comes in, or maybe it's like modifying your answer. So it was no longer a complete yes, it was tomorrow is too soon. And I educated them and I says, typically when you ask someone to write a letter, you give them 2 weeks. And so they were therefore educated and they said, oh, my apologies. And I said, I will get it to you within 2 weeks. So maybe it's not a no, but maybe it's you vouching for yourself, that empowerment piece, and being able to provide more information of, yes, I can do this, but I can't do it urgently. And I had another situation where someone asked me to do things. I love helping students. I love helping college students. I love giving back. I love being a role model. But someone had reached out for a project that they had for college and needed me to answer questions because I was a mental health professional. So I was like, "Ooh, I'd love to help." When did they need it? Tomorrow. And I was like, I'm not sure I could do that because, I was really busy. I was out of town. I looked at the questions about, I don't know how many questions. It was about 18 questions. It was a lot of questions. So then that turned into a no because I knew that I would be taking away from the things that I needed to do in order to do that. I felt bad. I really wanted to help, but at the end of the day, it is okay to say no. Learn to say no so that you're not adding more and more demands that you just really don't have to do. They are not a part of your priorities. So, why are you adding more to your list when you don't have to do those things? Learn to say no. And it is okay because saying no helps with your mental health and your stress. We're not talking about selfishness. We're talking about self-care, and self-care is not selfish, okay? So number 8, so you can automate things, simplify repetitive tasks, like auto payments, right? Let's see, we have a comment here. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. I had to learn to say no and don't feel guilty about it. Exactly. Learn to say no and don't feel guilty. End of story. So at the end of the day, how you feel is more important. What you're able to do and you continue to have energy to do those things is more important. Thank you. Yes. So as we get into number 8, automation. I know I need to most of my bills are on auto pay because that's another task that you add in. If you don't automate your bills, then it's like, "Oh, I gotta pay that." And then what happens if you don't pay it? Then it's a late fee. When it's a late fee, whether you have it or not, that's gonna stress you out because then you're like, "Oh my goodness, it's a late fee. What the heck? I could have avoided that." So automating things just as simple as that to promote your financial wellness is important. So what are some tasks that you can automate that are just doing what it needs to do on its own? And it's something that's repetitive, something that's simple, and it can just be done on its own and you don't have to worry about it. So consider what are those things, and paying bills is the most common example of that. But what are some things that you can put on automatic so that you won't have to worry about it? Maybe you check in on it from time to time, but you really don't have to worry about it if it's just doing its thing on its own. Okay. Oh, I wonder what number 9 is for how to reclaim your time. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Use your enjoyno. Hey, it was created for a reason. The enjoyno, and I feel like I don't talk about this part of it a lot, but I have SMART goals in there, different ways to get through tasks, planning your goals, short-term goals, long-term goals, different questions that ask you about your goals in life, about finances. So the nurture section on physical health, the stability section on financial health, and then the aspirational section on purpose all focus on SMART goals and helping you create goals to be able to get through the things that you want to do, the tasks that you want to complete. And so, yes, use your Enjoyno to help you be able to prioritize tasks and plan your day and plan the things you have to do. And of course, the Inspire Joy daily log at the end of the Enjoyno is very helpful because each morning, because you're gonna recharge in the morning, right? And you're going to pour into yourself in the morning. Each morning or each evening, it kind of depends. You can fill out your Inspire Joy daily log and it asks about every aspect of Inspire. It's asking you about the physical health. What did I do today? Did I work out? Look at this. Look at this. There we go. There we go. What did I have for breakfast? What did I have for lunch? Did I plan out my meals? Did I eat healthy? How can I change? Did I exercise? Yes or no? How much water? How many hours of sleep did I have? What is my mood right now? And of course, the integrity section ask about a thought check. What was one dominant thought I had today? Well, my one dominant thought, you may have been thinking like, oh, I've been thinking all day how inadequate I am. And then you think about, well, what did that thought do for me? Did that help my mood? No, it did not help my mood. So, it helps you reflect. So that's why I mentioned that you can either do this in the morning or in the evening because you can reflect on the whole day if you do this in the evening. And there's an emotional review section, stability. What did you spend money on today? Was it necessary? Did it go along with your financial goals? And you're just like, no, I ate out today and I didn't have to. I guess I could have. Maybe tomorrow. Helps you reflect and think about what you did today and what you can do or not do tomorrow. Intimacy. Who did you connect with today? What did you understand about their perspectives? Are you practicing empathy? Did you seek or offer support today? Because it's okay to find support and delegate, as we're talking about. Resilience. What challenges did you encounter today? How did you address it? What did you learn for the next challenge? So nice and reflective. And then thinking about tomorrow, what is one thing you want to focus on to improve tomorrow? So, hey, the joy note is loaded. And it's not to like rush through. You go through it with your own pace. So, of course, number 10 is taking breaks to recharge. I can tell when I just need a break, and it's when the thing that makes me feel good or that I usually feel productive in, I no longer feel good doing it and no longer feel productive, then I know I need a break. Like I said, I love content creating. I love doing things that have to do with the podcast, anything social media. I love talking. So if those things make me feel like I'm just staring at it and nothing's happening, or it just doesn't feel good anymore while I'm planning, marketing, and things like that. I'm just like, okay, I know I need a break. So recognize the signs that you need a break and then just recharge. Whatever that recharge is. What are your coping skills? What is in your self-care toolbox? So we talked about 1 through 10, different strategies that can help you reclaim your time and get through life's demands. But what if your mental health gets in the way? That can be easy for people who may not be experiencing clinical depression, generalized anxiety, or on a medication or in therapy. But obviously, when it comes to you having a mental illness, you have to prioritize your mental health first. You just have to. Because if you don't get enough sleep, if you don't make sure you're doing your self-care, talking with somebody, talking with your therapist, taking your medication, taking your medication for whatever medical thing you got going on in your physical body, then how are you even going to take care of your time management and your task if you're not doing those things? It's definitely very important. I must take breaks to recharge myself. Quick getaway off to, ooh, okay. I love Chicago. Chicago is literally one of my favorite cities, and when was that? I almost moved there, but it was definitely on my list of cities to go live after residency. Atlanta was on that list, and anywhere in Texas was on that list. Of course, I met my now husband who lived in Atlanta, so that's why I moved down to Atlanta. But I love Chicago. Make sure you have fun. The next child psychiatry conference is in Chicago. I gotta wait a whole year for that, but I'll be in Chicago next year. Woohoo! All right, what were we talking about? I love your comments. I love going on tangents. That just nourishes and caters to my ADHD. So bring on the comments. I love it. Taking care of your mental health first is super, super important. So the next thing when it comes to like if you have a mental illness, how do you keep with time management? Utilizing energy mapping. Okay, what is that? Energy mapping. Well, you got to collect some data off yourself to understand what energy mapping is. What parts of the day do you have the most energy? That's it. That's it. Are you a morning person and at 5 a.m. you have the most energy? Are you a night owl and at 12 a.m. you have the most energy? Or you're neither an early bird or a night owl. At 12 p.m. you have the most energy. Who are you? When do you have the most energy? I know I have the most energy and mental clarity in the morning when it comes to like my Chris 180 work, so my chief medical officer work. I'm a hiring manager at that job. I do like different things. So in the morning, I'm like better. But when it comes to my private practice, the afternoon, I have the most energy for. And obviously at night, I can be really tired. But when it comes to a podcast, my energy just comes back. Monday, I was a guest, Queen Beauty Podcast, and we recorded, and I was extremely tired. I was jet lagged. I was in Seattle all last week. We did the event on Saturday. Then Sunday for my birthday, we went to Usher, stayed out late. So Monday, I was exhausted. I was literally like nodding my head, like tired right before I went on their podcast. But once I got on there, I was like, yeah, 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 because that's when I have the most energy for that. And also, I can be nodding and tired right before I work out and right before I get on the treadmill in the evening at like 9:30 p.m. But once I get on there and I hear the music, it's great. So, first of all, you have to energy map which part of the day you have the most energy. And then, second of all, which part of the day do you have the most energy for what? So it works out that I have the most energy to do like certain things in certain part of the day, and it kind of doesn't conflict with each other. So I'm doing Chris 180 work in the morning. Well, I have to do full days with them, full days with them Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But the other days of the week, I'm doing mostly in the morning, and I do private practice in the afternoons on Monday, Friday. So I know when. So it really helps. Especially if you are inclined to have anxiety or stress or any type of mental illness or ADHD. It's really helpful for you to know when you have the most energy, because when you have that energy, it helps you be able to complete a task if your ADHD gets the best of you otherwise. So implement self-compassion and flexibility. That is extremely important when you have a mental illness and you can't get something done. So if your anxiety is getting in the way of you getting something done, the ADHD is getting in the way of you getting something done, or you have both and there's this complete cycle, you can have a tendency to be down on yourself, defeat yourself, stress yourself out, and feel guilty and just be mad at yourself. Give yourself self-compassion, self-love, grace, all the things, self-respect. Because it is okay if you did not get that task done. Write it down, plan it for the next day, get some sleep. You'll have more energy the next day. And then creating structure and accountability. Sometimes you might need somebody else as your accountability partner to help you and say, hey, did you do that thing? My mom's really good at that. She knows, oh, you got that event that you're going to be in Seattle all week, and that event is literally hours after you land. So you got to make sure you take care of this, this, and this before you leave for Seattle. And sometimes I'm just like, oh, mom. But then I'm like, oh, wait, this is great. Like she's helping me think of things that I need to complete. So actually, I delegate a lot to her too when I can. But yeah, accountability, having an accountability partner to help you remember something or check in on you to see that you're doing something. And of course, delegating and simplifying tasks is important when it comes to time management in general, and if you have a mental illness. So this is where we kind of go against what I said earlier, using technology for support. Because if you have a mental illness that is an obstacle to your time management and to you getting tasks done in a timely manner, maybe you need technology to help. Maybe you need to turn your phone on do not disturb so that those random notifications that get in the way won't get in the way. But setting reminders, having an app, a mental health app to help you meditate, to help you ground, to help you with mindfulness moments. So it's really important to balance that technology. Technology is not all bad. We all know that. There's some good in technology, but use it to help with your mental illness that could be getting in the way of your time and the things that you have to do. Thank you so much for listening. We're talking about reclaiming your time. You can do it. Practice self-compassion. Be nice to yourself. Get the Enjoyno if you haven't already. You can get it on Amazon for $39.08. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week. This has been an Enjoy Life production. If you're in a crisis, don't hesitate. Call, text, or chat 988 for immediate support. Please note, this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional treatment. If you're looking for therapy or medication management through Enjoy Life, visit www.drenjoylife.com to request a consultation. I accept Aetna for Georgia residents, and out-of-pocket services are available for others. I'm licensed in Georgia, Florida, Michigan, Tennessee, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Hampshire, Illinois, Virginia, and Minnesota. Be sure to grab your copy of the Enjoyno on Amazon for $39.08 to help you on your wellness journey. And remember, Journey to Joy Live is every Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, may you continue to transform challenges into joy.